Welcome to True Crime with Strategic Eyes.
Strategic back again. I just woke up and I took my son to school. I'm in the kitchen about to make breakfast and Aki's like, they know who he is. Then I tuned in and I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? Benny Johnson is saying that they apprehended the guy. Then Aki's like, listen, we got a press conference about to start soon, so that's what we're doing right now. We immediately put everything down. I haven't had my coffee, haven't had any orange juice, haven't had my vitamins, haven't had even a single shred of thing to eat. But I did brush my teeth. So now we're here live, and we're going to be waiting for this press conference where they're either going to tell us, one, that they have identified the guy, and two, that quite possibly they have apprehended him. Now, people on the internet are saying that he's been apprehended, but I have not received any independent verification of this. So you guys know how we do. Active duty detective here. I don't just go with rumors. I'll tell you rumors. I'll tell you what people are saying, but I'll let you know that it's a rumor. But as far as facts, we need cold, hard facts before we can say we believe something, okay? So let's jump into this. I'm started out, but I'm also going to be looking for some other sources for us as we wait for this press conference.
College student here on the we don't know a lot about this husband right now, as you mentioned on camera, but as we learn more in the minutes of this press conference, perhaps we might understand a little bit who this person is, where they come from Utah, not from Utah, from West, perhaps you're a student. So you really this advisor mentioned, get Chris Bertrand, former police chief. He's been in law enforcement for a very long time, and he is making an educated guess, like many of us from
Oh boy. I really think you were going to get away with this, buddy. You know, what these mass or these assassins need to do, what they need to remember, before they plan out their evil deed, they need to say to themselves, remember Luigi. Remember Luigi. If they could catch Luigi Mangione, who was extremely intelligent, extremely rich and wealthy, he had unlimited resources. If they could catch him, they can catch anyone, okay?
1 2 check, mic check. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7.
All right, they're doing a mic check. That means we're not that far out from actually getting this press conference started. Wow, this is crazy. Everybody's lives right now. Everybody's live. Everybody is live right now.
No.
According to reports on Twitter, Tyler Robinson has been identified as the Charlie Kirk assassin. According to Donald Trump, he was turned in by his father and a family friend who accompanied him to a local police station.
If this is true, what did I tell you? If this is true, that he was turned in by his mother and his father, what did True Crime with Strategic say? Didn't True Crime with Strategic say that he's going to be turned in by his parents? Listen, ladies and gentlemen, like I tell you guys all the time, I don't know everything, but I only speak on what I know. And when it comes to law enforcement, this is what I know. I'm an active duty detective, 19 years of experience in 1 month. 1 month will make 19 years. See what he's saying?
yes, yeah.
I told you guys that what this shooter had to worry about once they got his face is not regular people on the street. It's his own parents. And it's looking like his parents are the ones that turned him in, walked him to the police station, ladies and gentlemen. It's not being a psychic. It's called experience. Let's keep going.
Yes, I will.
All right. Go.
And listen, I don't say these things because I'm trying to boast or something like that. I'm not that kind of guy. There's a lot of different sources that you could go to on the internet and on YouTube. I'm just trying to express upon you folks where you can get quality information that's backed by hardcore law enforcement experience. Okay, it's just is what it is. When there's a lot of competition, when there's a lot of different sources out there, it's not a bad thing to say, hey, listen, this is what I got to offer. This is the experience that backs what I'm offering. And so often on this channel, we're right about these things. Once again, not because we're psychics. We're not doing tarot card readings, because there's a decades long of experience behind the words that I speak on this channel. Let's keep going.
Well, we are hearing that it is not going to be now. We do not have an exact start time. We are told that we will hopefully get a 5-minute warning when that happens.
Somebody said,
press officials are gathering on the ballot.
They said, would I turn my own child in if they did something? Absolutely. Absolutely. I've seen so many of these parents that their children do the most horrendous crimes and they're like supporting them without fail. I don't ever want to be one of those parents. I want to say, hey, I love you and I will support you in the best way I can, but I'm not going to condone and try and protect you from taking responsibility for what you've done. I would absolutely turn in my child if they did something like this, because guess what? This is not just a crime against Charlie Kirk. This is a crime against humanity. It is also a crime against the very foundations of our country, because what this guy did was he murdered Charlie Kirk over his First Amendment right. And I told you guys a personal story the other day about how an individual basically called me the N-word to my face multiple times when I was a child, and I still would not condone anything bad happening to that person. I would not condone it, because you don't fight hate with hate. And I'm not saying that what Charlie was doing was hate, but if you don't agree with what he's saying, the last thing that you do is take his life, because guess what you've done? You've turned him into a martyr. Because a person like myself, who wasn't an everyday Charlie Kirk supporter, now supports him, because I'm not fighting for Charlie Kirk. I'm fighting for the First Amendment. I'm fighting for the foundation of this country. So whatever he tried to do, it actually Uno reversed and backfired, because now people are looking at it for what it really is. You're trying to be thought police when you do what Tyler Robertson did. Let's keep going.
We are at the very least 5 minutes out or more, because we have not gotten that 5-minute warning when this press conference is expected. But we are expecting that law enforcement will tell us, number one, they have assessed.
I want to get to Trump's remarks on this.
This person sources Tyler Robinson, they come about with it. I have tried here to confirm that with FBI, local law enforcement. I will see that they have
I've been thinking what
and I hope that's not something that we will to secure. Again, waiting for these press conference.
We're led to believe that Kash Patel, the FBI director, will be front and centre of it, but there will be other arrest executed by Utah state authorities. They have been represented throughout these occasions. I think you'll see.
I mean, it's kind of crazy because, like, the parents turning their child in, they pretty much had to come to a realization that they weren't just turning their child in for justice, which is the main thing, but they were also turning their son in for a death sentence. This is a politically charged case, as it should be, because their son committed a political act of terrorism. There's no way that he's not going to either get the death penalty on a state level or on a federal level, if not both. So by those parents are true heroes, because by them turning in their son, they were actually saying we're willing to sacrifice our son to the state in the interest of justice. That's deep. If you really think about it from that point of view, it's real deep, man. It's real deep. Let's keep going. Got some pictures here we want to show to you guys. This is Tyler. That's him right there. All right, we got, so they started sanitizing those social medias, the family, but we were able to, the research crew was able to pull a lot of video, a lot of pictures rather, off of the page before it was deleted. Big shout out to the research crew. We'll start. They got fan clubs that are being created. This is just sick. Scrubbing the internet. Let me show you some of this stuff, guys. Unbelievable. So the internet is getting scrubbed. You got some fan clubs on Facebook being made. It's disgusting, to be honest with you. That's him right there. He really did not disguise himself. Like, this is, he put zero effort into disguising himself. He literally wanted to be caught. He wanted to be a martyr. In this one, he has the Converse sneakers. It's like that's his only pair of shoes. This is him. This is Tyler. Tyler, you're screwed, buddy. All right, I want to play Trump real quick. Talking about Tyler.
Yesterday you were at the 9/11 memorial. We were all watching that. And J.D. Vance was supposed to be with you. He went out to be with Charlie Kirk's family and to get the body back to his hometown in Arizona. And you said you were going to award him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is very nice of you. Any updates on this suspect?
Yeah. Can I always say, I think, just to protect us all, and so Fox doesn't get sued, and we all don't get sued, and everything else. But I think with a high degree of certainty, we have him in custody, right? In custody. Everyone did a great job. We worked with the local police, the governor. Everybody did a great job. You know, getting somebody that you start off with absolutely nothing. And we started off with a clip that made him look like an ant that was almost useless. We just saw there was somebody up there. And so much work has been done over the last 2.5 days. You know, it's amazing, actually, when you start off with that and then all of a sudden you get lucky or talent or whatever it is. But, yeah, I think we're in great shape.
Mr. President,
and he's in custody.
Your suspicion was that he was radical left, and now you have more information. What can you share with us about his ideology?
Yeah, Lawrence, let me just, and by the way, Lawrence is doing a good job. What's going on here?
Job. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'm very proud of you.
Thank you, sir.
I said you were going to do well. Yeah, I think that I don't want to go too far. I'd like to tell you some stories at how it happened, but essentially somebody that was very close to him turned him in.
Yeah.
And that happens when you had some of those good shots. Somebody is going to say, whether it's a parent or whatever, I'd rather not say right now. They're going to announce it today, sometime later, probably talk about that. But somebody close to him turned him, you know, they said, whoa. It's interesting where we had very good pictures, but not great, not perfect. And when you look at it, what happened is somebody, and this happens a lot. It happened with the crazy Boston bomber. It happened with others. Somebody that's close recognizes even a little tilt of the head, which nobody else would do. And somebody that was very close to him said, that's him. And essentially went to the father, went to U.S. Marshal who was fantastic, by the way. And the person was involved with law enforcement, but was a person of faith, a minister. And brought him to a U.S. Marshal who was fantastic. And the father convinced the son.
Let's see what's good here. Sorry.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Check 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, they're just doing mic tests. Let's go back to Trump.
This is it. And again, I'm always subject to be corrected, but you know, I'm just giving you, based on what I'm hearing, they'll give you a much more active. I just heard about it 5 minutes before I walked in. As I'm walking in, they said, looking real good. They have the person that they wanted. So,
did we get it right, Kash
you have
Patel?
breaking
We get it
news,
right this
don't
time?
you? Huh?
Thank you.
Always have breaking news, Ainsley. Sean's going to be very disappointed that we're not doing it on his show.
He'll be very thankful and appreciative of the police officers that got this guy.
They did a great job. Everybody worked together. Pam Bondi is incredible, by the way. People don't know what a star she is. She's incredible. And it all worked out.
Could I ask you just some clarification? So a pastor was able to turn him in, or they got the family of the shooter to turn them in?
Well, it was a minister, and the minister went to a minister who was involved with law enforcement, by the way. And his good friend is a top U.S. Marshal. And they took it from there. And then it was a father got involved, namely his father, and said, we got to go in. And they, so I understand it. And again, subject to change. But, you know, the facts are the facts. We have the person that we think is the person we're looking for. But they drove into the police headquarters, and he's there now.
Did the father know about what the son had done?
I don't know. I'm going to let you get all those questions later, because I can't tell you how accurate. The bottom line is they have somebody that they think did it.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart.
All right, let's get back here.
Not part of the discussion.
I'm going to show you some pictures now, guys, of the shooter. This is from his Facebook page before it was scrubbed. I don't know who that is. Get that out of there. Do this manually. What a waste. Photos we were able to get off of the internet before it was scrubbed. Once again, big shout out to the research crew. You guys are amazing. Love the support you guys give the channel. Elizabeth Dees is now a recruit member. Welcome to the family. We appreciate you. Let's go to the Devil's Playground. Let's go to X and see what's going on. X is probably on fire right now. One could only imagine what the family's going through right now. Getting information from the pastor like, hey, I think this is your son. I think your son shot Charlie Kirk. Going to your son and saying, son, what did you do? Talk to me. And then he's like, I did it, you know? And it's like, why? Why did you do that, son? Why? Why did you do that? And it's like, can these people ever give you a good explanation as to why they did it? Let's watch a video of this guy. Let's get it over here to X. While we wait on this, what I'm going to do also is I'm going to, let me do some machinations over here real quick. So I'm going to duplicate this. And I'm going to throw this over here so that I have it in my peripheral so that when they start, I'll know exactly when to switch over. And then in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and take this Tyler Wallace tab over here, put it over here, and now we're going to watch some of his video. We go ahead and mute that as well. All right. So this is, we're on X, the devil's playground. I'm not saying that in negative ways. Things happen on X. Everything happens on X, right? It's like free speech, the soapbox of America, of the world, rather. So we're on X. Let's see what the denizens of X were able to obtain. Let's do it.
Okay. Congratulations. You have been selected to receive the Resident Presidential Scholarship from Utah State University. The value of this scholarship is approximately $32,000.
Jeez.
This scholarship is available for 4 years or 8 semesters.
I get it. I get it. He's one of those guys, man. He's one of those guys. Really, really smart dudes who's like borderline, you know, autistic, kind of like super smart, think they know better than the rest of it. The rest of us. Ideologue, easily manipulated, easily brainwashed, easily swayed into extremism. He's one of those guys. You can see it from the way he's talking. He's a really smart guy. He's got the presidential scholarship. Listen to him talk again. Tell me if I'm wrong, guys. Put all of your bias aside. Remember, when you're here, we're talking like detectives. All right? We're talking like detectives. We don't allow ideology or any of that things to sway us. Look at this from an objective point of view and listen to the words that I just told you and tell me what you think.
Okay. Congratulations. You have been selected to receive the Resident Presidential Scholarship from Utah State University. The value of this scholarship is approximately $32,000. This scholarship is available for 4 years or 8 semesters. Okay. Congratulations. You have been selected to receive the Resident Presidential Scholarship from Utah State University. The value of this scholarship is approximately $32,000. This scholarship is available for 4 years.
Sorry, man. I muted it. I took a phone call. So in this one, this photo, they're saying that he's wearing a Democratic Socialist of America shirt. I mean, obviously, in this case, his political ideology does matter because this is a terrorist attack, basically. And terrorism is all about politics. So I'm not saying that Democratic Socialists are bad or good. I'm just saying that this is what they're alleging. Let's keep going. He's got the same shoes on. He really did not try to hide who he is. Tyler Robson with his dad who turned him in. This picture is before he went off to college where radical left professors indoctrinated him into a radical leftist. Once again, this is these folks' personal political beliefs. I am not espousing to any of these political beliefs. I'm just reading you, and we're just going through the information that we have available to us, all right? It's him eating his food. It's him reading that same thing out. We already played that. This is him looking much younger with his family. Looks like he might have another sibling. All right. He's getting broadcast all over the media. So it appears his killer has been caught. 22-year-old Ty Robinson was turned in by his dad. Couldn't see the words humanity. These are people making negative comments. This is Amber Jones Robinson. Murder. Can you delete posts but can't delete your son's past? Oh, people are going hard, man. They're not happy. Says your son is going to hell with a disgrace. Listen, this lady had nothing to do with her son's actions. Let's be civil, people. She has nothing to do. I'm pretty sure this family did a really good job raising this young man, and his political ideology is his own. I'm pretty sure his family had nothing to do with anything and any of the choices that this young man made. At the end of the day, at some point, you raise children, you give them the best tools that you could possibly give them to be successful, and then you have to send them off on their own and hope that they have the tools to make the right decisions. You know, you can't always blame the family. Like, listen, when we covered the Stephen Stearns case, we were very hard on his mother. But if you listen to his mother talk, you could clearly see that there's something wrong with her, and that her style of raising him may have contributed into making him into the monster that he became. We heard it from his own mouth, from her own mouth, the things that she was saying and the blaming that she was putting on the victim at times. We don't know these parents. We have not heard them speak. We have not heard anything from them. We have not heard any testimony from neighbors and family and friends that they did anything that could have swayed this young man to do what he did. Understand, what he did was not something that can be taken lightly or easy. He literally planned the murder of another person. I mean, he literally got a gun, climbed up on a roof, and shot a person from a significant distance and then tried to cover up his tracks. It takes a lot to get to that point. So this is the definition of premeditated. And I find it hard to believe that there'd be any parent that would brainwash their child and motivate their child to do something like this. It's unfortunate, but he's going to have to own this. His life is over. His life is over. They're going to charge him in the state, then they're going to charge him in the feds, and then the feds is going to take precedent for the sentencing, and they're going to send him to the Supermax in Florence, Colorado, until he gets the death penalty. This young man literally is going to live a life of torture. If you have not worked in a prison or done hard time, you don't know what it's like to be in solitary confinement. I worked in a prison for many years. I watched the most gangster, the most tough, the most scariest gang members crumble in the box. Crumble in solitary confinement. The Supermax in Florence, Colorado is a solitary confinement jail. A solitary confinement jail. He's literally going to see four walls for 23 hours a day. They even put that snow filter on the windows, so you never get to see actual sunlight. You just see filtered sunlight. And of course, the fluorescent light that's in your cell. That is what he's going to experience for the rest of his life until the state decides to take his life. If that was my fate, I would waive every single appeal that I have, and I know I did it, and I would just accept the death penalty. And even then, it'd still take them 5 to 10 years to do it to you. 15 to 20 years if you fight them, 5 to 10 years if you say, please do it. Please. I've seen people say, please do it, and then you have like these organizations that don't believe in capital punishment file lawsuits on behalf of the inmate, and the inmate is like, please stop. I don't want you to file lawsuits on behalf of me. I want to experience this capital punishment. I want to put it to an end. And those people still fighting for those individuals' lives, even though they don't want their lives to be fought for. The existence that he's going to exist is not worth living, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Just my opinion. But whatever, let's keep going. He threw it all away over ideology. He threw all of it away over flawed ideology. How is the ideology that he was fighting for flawed? It's flawed because it did not leave room for speech. It did not leave room for debate. It did not leave room for the diversity of ideas that makes this country great. If you want to go live in a one-party system where there's only one authorized thought, you go to China. You go to North Korea. And you got to ask yourself, why is it that they have to post armed guards on the border of North Korea to shoot anybody who's trying to leave, and yet people still try to leave? The people who live in those systems, they don't want to live there. Why is it you have 1 billion people in China and every single one of them wants to come over to America? Why is that? Because the people who live in those one-party systems don't want to live there. The diversity of thought is what makes this country great. And yet you have people like him, as learned as he may think that he is, as intelligent as he thinks that he is, he could not fathom and contemplate the simple fact that some great men, 250 years ago thought about. That the discourse that exists in America is what makes America so great. A bunch of pitchfork farmers 250 years ago figured that out. But this guy in the 21st century, with all the world's knowledge available to him at his fingertips, couldn't figure that out. Amazing. Irony. Look at him. He's on top of a Donald Trump. It's almost like he's on Donald Trump's shoulders. That's his Halloween outfit, costume. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. This is him in school. All right. Okay, here we go. Here we go. What the hell?
And Sheriff Mike Smith. We also have with us Utah DPS Commissioner Beau Mason, Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson, FBI Special Agent in Charge Robert Bowles, and local and federal law enforcement partners. Following the remarks today, Governor Cox, Director Patel, and Commissioner Mason will take questions. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him. On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. This information was relayed to the Utah County Sheriff's Office and scene investigators at Utah Valley University. This information was also conveyed to the FBI. Investigators reviewed additional video footage from UVU surveillance and identified Robinson arriving on UVU campus in a gray Dodge Challenger at approximately 8:29 a.m. on September 10th, in which he is observed on video in a plain maroon t-shirt, light-colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes. When encountered in person by investigators in Washington County on September 12th, in the early morning hours, Robinson was observed in consistent clothing with those surveillance images. Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th, and in the conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate. The family member also confirmed Robinson had a gray Dodge Challenger. Investigators identified an individual as the roommate of Robinson. Investigators interviewed that roommate, who stated that his roommate, referring to Robinson, made a joke on Discord. Investigators asked if he would show them the messages on Discord. He opened it and showed several messages to investigators and allowed investigators to take photos of the screen as each message was shown by Robinson's roommate. These photos consisted of various messages, including content of messages between the phone contact named Tyler with an emoji icon and Robinson's roommate's device. The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. The messages also refer to engraving bullets and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique. Messages from the contact Tyler also mentioned that he had changed outfits. I know there's been speculation as well as to the writing on those casings, those bullet casings, and I believe we have that as well. And I'll share that with you now. So the area north of Campus Drive Road where the suspect crossed over, you saw some of that in the video that we released last night, consists of a grassy area with trees on the edge of the UVU campus. Investigators discovered a bolt-action rifle wrapped in a dark-colored towel. The rifle was determined to be a Mauser Model 98 30-06 caliber bolt-action rifle. The rifle had a scope mounted on top of it. Investigators noted inscriptions that had been engraved on casings found with the rifle. Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices, bulges, capital OWO, what's this?" ? Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist!" ! Catch! ! Up arrow symbol, right arrow, and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow," and a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO." We are indebted to law enforcement across the state who's worked seamlessly together, local law enforcement, state law enforcement, and our federal partners with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We're grateful for everyone who worked together in such a short amount of time to find this person and to bring justice. I want to thank the public who has been so engaged, reviewing videos, helping us with sending in tips, and helping us get to this point. I want to thank the family members of Tyler Robinson who did the right thing in this case and were able to bring him into to law enforcement as well. I especially want to thank the family of Charlie Kirk, Erica, Charlie's parents, his children. I want us to be thinking of them as we bring justice in this case. They will be involved in that justice. We will be working very closely with them as we move through this process as well. This is a very sad day for our country, a terrible day for the state of Utah, but I'm grateful that at this moment we have an opportunity to bring closure to this very dark chapter in our nation's history. With that, I'll now turn the microphone over to the Director of the FBI, Kash Patel.
Hey guys, please hit that like button. Please hit the like button, support the channel.
Thank you, Governor. This is what happens when you let good cops be cops. The FBI and our partners are proud to stand here today together to bring justice to the family of Charlie Kirk and honor his memory. I want to express my deep gratitude to President Trump, the Vice President, and the entire White House who have been so incredibly supportive with both resources and just personally to the FBI as a team. They had our backs the entire way, and I just want to express my gratitude for giving us the resources we need to operate in this space to bring this sort of justice at this sort of speed. In 33 hours, we have made historic progress for Charlie. Governor Cox, our partnership has been absolutely incredible these last few days. Our partnership will endure. Your state and local partners, your sheriffs, your DPS community has been unbelievably impressive in the hardest of times. And a case like this cannot be solved, cannot be brought without partnering with your state and local authorities. The FBI has a certain role to play. We will play that role, and we will lead out for the federal government. Governor Cox, we are so grateful for your state partnership that led out on this investigation. A little bit of the timeline. Charlie was shot at 12:23 p.m. on Wednesday. The first FBI agents arrived on scene in 16 minutes with chiefs of police at 12:39 and secured the scene. The FBI immediately launched fixed-wing assets. We utilized these assets to transport personnel, specialty technicians, hostage rescue teams. We also utilized these assets to go back and forth from the East Coast and here in Utah to transport forensic evidence and other evidence that will be analyzed and is being analyzed at our FBI laboratories in Quantico and other laboratories, including the ATF. At my direction, the FBI released the first set of FBI photos of the suspect at 10 a.m. local time on 9/11. Then, shortly thereafter, the FBI reward of $100,000 was released at 10:45 a.m. local. Myself and Deputy Director Bongino arrived on the scene at approximately 5:30 p.m. on 9/11. The governor led a press conference last night at approximately 8 p.m. where, at my direction, the FBI released a never-before-seen video of the suspect. We also released new images to the public of the suspect. And just last night, the suspect was taken into custody at 10 p.m. local time. In less than 36 hours, 33 to be precise, thanks to the full weight of the federal government and leading out with the partners here in the state of Utah and Governor Cox, the suspect was apprehended in a historic time period. And I want to highlight what Governor Cox said. This would not have been possible without you, the media, and you, the public. That's why we went so public, so fast, and we're so transparent, and we're committed to that transparency. The crime scene, just a little bit there. It is a large crime scene. State and local authorities, along with federal authorities, processed that crime scene quickly. And I even had the ability to walk through that crime scene and walk through the steps the suspect took to learn more about what was needed and what resources we needed to bear to create a full picture for the FBI and leadership back in Washington. Furthermore, thankfully to state and local partners, forensic evidence has been seized and continues to be garnered. Forensic evidence has already been evaluated at FBI laboratories in Quantico and state and local authorities here. We will continue to process evidence as we see it, as we collect it, and we will continue to deliver to Governor Cox and his team. Last night we had a total of approximately 7,000 leads. As of this morning, thanks to your great work, we have over 11,000 leads that were called in to the FBI. And we are running out every single lead that we can. Every one of those leads will be run out. The arrest is a testament to dedication of good law enforcement being great, and partnerships in law enforcement, which I've tried to highlight as my tenure as the director of the FBI. There is no better relationship for law enforcement than the FBI to partner with state and local authorities, and you've seen it here in these last few days. The FBI Salt Lake field office, along with our offices in LA, Phoenix, Denver, San Antonio, Las Vegas, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, our headquarters component in Quantico, all participate in the FBI. I want to express my deep gratitude to the employees of the FBI, the men and women, the evidence response team tacticians, the special operators, the agents, the support staff. You have done monumental work in historic time when the public, who had a right to demand such an expeditious solving of an investigation, the FBI answered that call diligently, critically important to our nation, and we delivered. And I'm proud to be their leader, and I'm proud to be the director of the FBI. This is very much an ongoing investigation, as the governor said, and we will continue to work with state and local authorities to develop the investigation, to provide them the evidence they need for their ongoing prosecutions, and we will be here to answer every call they absolutely have, as long as it takes for as long as we need to find and apprehend whatever suspects were involved in this crime. Lastly, to my friend Charlie Kirk, rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
Thank you, and good morning. I would just like to take a few minutes as the sheriff to express my gratitude for everybody who has played a part in this investigation. As you know, it's been a vast, a complicated, and a very, very fast-paced investigation. You're looking at people standing up here who are running on, if they got an hour's sleep in the last couple of days, they're probably lucky. It has been very taxing. It has been so impressive, speaking on behalf of the local law enforcement, to see the cooperation that we've seen in this type of case. Across the state, sheriffs, chiefs, our state partners have stepped up and have come to the call on anything that we needed. Our county chiefs have been phenomenal. Our Utah County Attorney, Jeff Gray, who's standing up here with us, has been phenomenal in leading us through this investigation. I would like to thank the federal government for their resources, their assets. Our local team here, our FBI team, has been extraordinary in helping us work through this and bring this person to justice. Most of all, I would like to thank the public, and specifically, I would like to thank the public who turned to prayers and who turned to positiveness for us. I would like to thank them on behalf of the law enforcement community, because we needed those prayers. That's what we needed to get through this. We needed your support, and you gave it to us. We needed your patience, and you gave it to us. And I would like to thank you for the Kirk family, because that's what they need, is your support and your prayers, and that will get us through all of this. So thank you, everybody, for everybody that has stepped up. We've had such a phenomenal response to this. Thank you.
I also want to give a special thanks to the Attorney General and the Department of Justice. Their unwavering support and their commitment to justice is shown true here. And without AG Bondi and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche and the resources they brought to bear, we would not have been able to complete our mission. And I just want to say special thanks. It's an honor to be a part of the Department of Justice.
Thank you again to our incredible law enforcement team who has worked so hard. Sheriff, I got a solid 90 minutes last night, so I'm probably the most well-rested person up here. Ladies and gentlemen, I get the microphone, so I hope you'll permit me a moment just to share a few more thoughts about where we are and how we got here, and maybe a little bit of where we go from here. I don't want to get too preachy, but I think it's important that we, with eyes wide open, understand what's happening in our country today. I've heard people say, well, why are we so invested in this? There's violence happening all across our country, and violence is tragic everywhere, and every life taken is a child of God who deserves our love and respect and dignity. This is certainly about the tragic death, political assassination of Charlie Kirk. But it is also much bigger than an attack on an individual. It is an attack on all of us. It is an attack on the American experiment. It is an attack on our ideals. This cuts to the very foundation of who we are, of who we have been, and who we could be in better times. Political violence is different than any other type of violence for lots of different reasons. One, because in the very act that Charlie championed of expression, that freedom of expression that is enshrined in our founding documents, in having his life taken in that very act, makes it more difficult for people to feel like they can share their ideas, that they can speak freely. We will never be able to solve all the other problems, including the violence problems that people are worried about, if we can't have a clash of ideas safely and securely.
I agree.
Even, especially those ideas with which you disagree. That's why this matters so much. Over the last 48 hours, I have been as angry as I have ever been, as sad as I have ever been. And it was, as anger pushed me to the brink, it was actually Charlie's words that pulled me back. I'd like to share some of those. And specifically right now, if I could, I need to talk to the young people in our state, in my state, and all across the country. As President Trump reminded me, he said, you know who really loved Charlie? The youths. And he's right. Young people loved Charlie, and young people hated Charlie. And Charlie went into those places anyway. And these are the words that have helped me. Charlie said, when people stop talking, that's when you get violence. He said, the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. The only way out of the labyrinth of suffering is to forgive. Welcome without judgment, love without condition, forgive without limit. He said, always forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them so much. A few months ago, I referenced this last night, Charlie posted to social media, when things are moving very fast and people are losing their minds, it's important to stay grounded. Turn off your phone, read scripture, spend time with friends, and remember, internet fury is not real life. It's going to be okay.
Wow.
He again said, when you stop having a human connection with someone you disagree with, it becomes a lot easier to commit violence. He said, what we as a culture have to get back to is being able to have a reasonable agreement, where violence is not an option.
Mugshots
now,
are
again, to my young friends out there, you are inheriting a country where politics feels like rage. It feels like rage is the only option. But through those words, we have a reminder that we can choose a different path. Your generation has an opportunity to build a culture that is very different than what we are suffering through right now. Not by pretending differences don't matter, but by embracing our differences and having those hard conversations. I think we need more moral clarity right now. I hear all the time that words are violence. Words are not violence. Violence is violence. And there is one person responsible for what happened here. And that person is now in custody and will be charged soon and will be held accountable. And yet, all of us have an opportunity right now to do something different. I want to thank my fellow Utahns. This bad stuff happens. For 33 hours, I was praying that if this had to happen here, that it wouldn't be one of us. That somebody drove from another state, somebody came from another country. Sadly, that prayer was not answered the way I hoped for. Just because I thought it would make it easier on us if we could just say, hey,
proficient
we don't
in
do
weapons, 12 years old.
And indeed, Utah is a special place. We lead the nation in charitable giving. We lead the nation in service every year. But it did happen here. And it was one of us. But I want you to look at how Utahns reacted the last two nights. There was no rioting. There was no looting. There were no cars set on fire. There was no violence. There were vigils and prayers and people coming together to share the humanity. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I believe is the answer to this. We can return violence with violence. We can return hate with hate. And that's the problem with political violence, is it metastasizes. Because we can always point the finger at the other side. And at some point, we have to find an off-ramp, or it's going to get much, much worse. But see, these are choices that we can make. History will dictate if this is a turning point for our country. But every single one of us gets to choose right now if this is a turning point for us. We get to make decisions. We have our agency. And I desperately call on every American, Republican, Democrat, liberal, progressive, conservative, MAGA, all of us to please, please, please follow what Charlie taught me. I'll just conclude with words I share often from a friend and author, Yuval Levin, who was asked if he was optimistic about our country. And he said, I'm not optimistic. He said, I hate optimism. God, that sounds bad. But he said, optimism is a vice. It's this idea that good things are just going to happen. And he said, in the history of the world, good things have never just happened. He says, I'm not optimistic, but I am hopeful. And hope is the virtue that sits between the vices of optimism and pessimism. Hope is the idea that good things are going to happen because we can make them so. I still believe in our country. And I know Charlie Kirk believed in our country. I still believe that there is more good among us than evil. And I still believe that we can change the course of history. I'm hopeful because Americans can make it so. Ladies and gentlemen, we're happy to answer any questions you have.
Governor, can you please speak to whether the suspect is speaking with authorities and his demeanor, Tyler Robinson, when he turned himself in?
I cannot speak to that.
Governor, how do you interpret his motivation? Governor, how do you interpret the engravings on the case of
Well, I will leave that up to you to interpret what those engravings mean. I think the clearest one that says "catch fascist," there's not, and by the way, that's like catch like a ball, catch this. I think that speaks for itself.
Governor, so you talked about this level of hatred that this person expressed at a dinner. Beyond that, is there anything in your view that you've discovered that may have radicalized or changed him to prompt him to commit such a horrific act?
There's nothing more that we can share at this time.
Governor, you indicated that he had been communicating with a friend on Discord about the gun. Do you anticipate any more arrests?
We do not at this time have any information that would lead to any additional arrests.
Do you believe he acted alone?
Yes, but the investigation is ongoing.
Can you tell more about the family, what they had to say about the suspect?
How he came into custody of police and where he is right now, Mr. Robinson?
Yes, so right now, Mr. Robinson has been booked into the Utah County Jail. You heard the president this morning report that he was taken into custody, that his family and a friend helped to deliver him into custody of law enforcement in Washington County. Those of you that don't know where Washington County is, it is the southernmost, southwesternmost part of the state of Utah. It's about a 3.5 to 4 hour drive from here, where we are right now, and that's where he lived and where they turned him.
Can you talk more about what the family is saying about Tyler Robinson?
I can't share any more than what I've already shared.
Governor, do you have details on how he got back to Washington County and how the gun was obtained?
So how we obtained the gun? The gun was found.
No, how the shooter obtained the gun and how the shooter then was able to get back to Washington?
So I don't have much more details on that. We do know that he drove. We had his car here on campus, and then we had his car going south back to the St. George. It's actually the city of Washington in Washington County.
Is he talking with authorities, and did he discuss a voting?
I'm sorry?
Did the suspect plan to carry out any other attacks?
We don't have any information that
Are you
released.
going to be releasing the mugshot?
Yes, in fact, it was just released.
Is
Yes.
he talking with authorities, and did he discuss a motive?
I can't answer that right now.
Can you clarify?
You've spoken very eloquently about trying to reunite this country. Do you feel that this is a watershed in American history?
I absolutely believe that this is a watershed in American history, yes. The question is what kind of watershed? And that chapter remains to be written. Is this the end of a dark chapter in our history, or the beginning of a darker chapter in our history? Look, I mean, if you look at true political assassinations in this country of someone of this stature, this feels a lot like the late 60s. And having one so gruesomely displayed on camera in all of our hands and in all of our pockets, we are not wired as human beings, biologically, historically. We have not evolved in a way that we are capable of processing those types of violent imagery. And by the way, we've seen another one with a gruesome stabbing very recently that went viral. This is not good for us. It is not good to consume. Social media is a cancer on our society right now. And I would encourage people to log off, turn off, touch grass, hug a family member, go out and do good in your community. That is happening, and it's happening organically right now. I had a friend in a small city in Utah who said, we're getting together, the Republicans and Democrats in my little town are getting together to have a discussion tonight, last night, just to find a way to find their better angels. So yes, this could be, I mean, again, you have to go back to JFK to have seen a video live of something like this happening. I wasn't born until 1975, but I know that things were really dark in the late 60s. Sorry to some of you. I know some of you were there. But this is our moment. Yeah. Do we escalate, or do we find an off-ramp? And again, it's a choice. It's a choice, and every one of us gets to make that choice. Two more questions right here.
Could we clarify that the release of those enhanced images at 8 p.m., the timeline that Director Patel gave us, led to the arrest at 10 p.m.? Is there a direct connection between those two events?
I cannot comment if there is a direct connection or not, but all I can say is that through some process, the family came to know that this had happened.
One more thing, Governor. Could you just clarify the clothing issue you mentioned earlier? Was he changing outfits?
Correct.
Could you just clarify this?
Yes. So when he's first spotted on campus, he has different clothing on, and then he changes clothing on the roof, and then changed back into that clothing at some point, so that when he was apprehended, when he was arrested, the clothing matched the clothing he had on before the shooting here.
Premeditated.
Last question here.
You said that the suspect was from Utah. Can you kind of tell us a little bit more about where, and was he a student here at this university, and is there any history of mental illness?
Yeah. So I don't have any information on the mental illness part. He was not a student here at UVU. He was living and had lived for a long time with his family in Washington County. Thank you, everyone, for your great work in getting this information out. I would just say, process-wise, this may be important. I know many of you aren't familiar with the process in Utah. I think it's important that you understand that. Basically, we have 3 days for charging documents to be filed. A CI will be filed. We'll have more information then, more detailed information as those charging documents are filed in preparation for a preliminary hearing. So 3 days. So we would anticipate then that early next week those charging documents will be filed. We will obviously be working. The county attorney will be working very closely with Mr. Kirk's family as those documents and decisions are prepared and made. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, there we go. All right, that's it, man. We're going to make sure we have all those documents made available to you guys when they're released. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel. Yeah, this was a quite informative press conference. I definitely appreciated the candor of everybody involved. Basically, as I told you guys, I want to read out a super chat real quick. I couldn't read it because we were doing a press conference. But big shout out to Tanta37. She says, Strategic was absolutely correct about a parent or a mate turning the person into the authorities. So insightful about everything. So yes, we called it. I said that the person that this subject has to worry about is his own parents. They're going to turn him in. They're not going to turn him in for the reward money. They're going to turn him in because they're going to be appalled with his actions.